Hi, everyone. My name is Moria, and I'm from the Microsoft Reactor team. Thank you for joining us for our session today on Power BI for beginners. Before we start the session, I just wanted to let you know that the session is recorded. It will be available on the Reactor YouTube channel. During the session, if you have questions, please feel free to post them on the comments box, and Olanrewaju will take the time to answer your questions through the session or at the end, whenever he finds it's best time for him to take those. So without further ado, I'm gonna hand it over to Olanrewaju to start today's session. So over to you, and thank you, everyone. Enjoy the session.
All right, thanks, Maureen, for the introduction. And good day, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're joining from. I'm Olanrewaju Oyinbooke, Senior Cloud Advocate at Microsoft. This series is part of the 30 Days of Learning Engagement for Data Analysis Track. And we've had a couple of well-documented sessions that have introduced the participants to data analysis, concept around it, how to get data, scraping data with Excel. And last week, we actually built dashboard using Microsoft Excel. And because analysis has really started from that spreadsheet, many organizations start from there today. So for today, we're going to introduce you to Microsoft Power BI Desktop, and we're just taking it a step above where we stopped. So let's introduce you to Power BI Desktop and help you with the fundamental knowledge, building a very strong foundational knowledge for you, and you can actually continue to build on it. As an expectation from this session, we're going to introduce you to what Microsoft Power BI is, the desktop application. We're going to connect to over 6 data sources because a lot of people get to learn Power BI by just connecting to 1 or 2 data sources, and this limits their comprehension of the capability in terms of Power BI being able to integrate to many of Microsoft 365 apps and services and other applications out there. I just want to encourage you right now to like this video, subscribe to this channel, and also share with your friends and colleagues because they shouldn't miss this live session. It's recorded, yes, but you just want to be part of the energy and enjoy this class alongside with others. I'm sharing my screen right now and I'm going to start my introduction to the class. So this is me saying to you, you're welcome. I mean, I can't exhaust this. I appreciate everyone coming on this program today. So welcome, welcome, welcome. So what are we going to cover as per the layout? First, I'm going to prove to you again, not about proving, but rather to let you know that analytics is a continuum. And as you're starting your career in this space, it is good to understand what these stages and phases of data analysis are. Then the anatomy of Power BI dashboard. So you get to know what is in the Power BI dashboard, and we're going to break down the anatomy. And lastly, we're going to do some quick demo, which will not be bad at all. I know you're excited about it. Myself, I'm prepared and I'm excited to show you these and other amazing stuffs that you can actually do with Microsoft Power BI Desktop. Okay, so let's dive deep to our digest one, which is about analytics as a continuum. In the previous sessions, we've said this over and over again. I mean, that data is the new oil. Some people call data the new soil. Say data is not the oil, it's the soil. Irrespective of where you placed it, data must have been that valuable to even, have that level of argument. What I believe is the oil, and of course, is the soil. And I live in an oil country where nobody is drilling. This is a quote, is a favorite quote of mine, which sort of lay emphasis on the value in data and how less of that value is being derived today just because we don't have enough people who have the skill to mine the heart of data and bring out its intent. So we're not going to drill down there, but let's really go to the analytics as a continuum. Remember, it is not just about Power BI. It is not just about data analysis. It is about business value. You are trying to answer questions. You are trying to provide value to the business. And how do business perceive that value? They first perceive it by asking questions. So business approach you with a question. And your ability to answer that question and provide additional insight delivers value. So what are the kind of questions businesses answer and what stages of analytics do they belong to? And that is first thing I want to explain to you. The first is the what. Questions like what? They are descriptive analytics. They're asking what has happened. What happened last month? What happened yesterday? About the business. How much revenue did we make? How much of this? All those questions of things that has happened in the past. Understanding what has happened in the past, they are called the what question, and they are descriptive. Business just want to understand what has happened in the past. Then the next is why. The further want to ask, why did it happen? We call this diagnostic and explanatory. You want to be able to find out why that thing happened, which is the part of what you use Power BI to do. Why did it happen, and you want to dive deeper. So take note, businesses are asking question, what? Sometimes they ask you what, but they expect you to also answer the why. So what has happened? Why did it happen? Then what is the reason? There's a part of why, which is there's a part of what is the reason. Exploratory, because there are two forms now. Exploratory actually target finding out why it happened to field the next solution. What you see under why is diagnostic and explanatory. This is for data analyst guy who are building dashboard and reports. But when you talk about what is the reason, exploratory feed into that data science. If you are building a machine learning model today, you do data analysis as well, but you are exploring your data to understand what has happened, what is the reason, and your understanding from there will inform the variable you are creating and the model you are building. So your outcome from exploratory is being fed into, the output is being fed into the project you are currently working on. It continues like that. However, in diagnostic and explanatory is to the business, it's not for you to consume. In exploratory is for you to consume and to inform your next line of action when building machine learning solutions. So that is how it is. A data analyst build, explore data, and also build dashboard, but it's not the one consuming it. It's sending all those insights, everything back to the business. But for a data scientist who is exploring data to understand patterns and why this happened, what is the reason, so that it can inform the next line of action while still building that model, because the model is the end result. Then we have what will happen. This is the predictive. People want to understand what will happen next. How much revenue are we going to make in the next couple of months? Which customer is likely to leave us? Which of our machines is likely to fail? Which of the customer is likely to come for claims? And many more like that. How many withdrawals is a customer likely to make on an ATM in a week, so that we can plan way ahead for that? Those are predictive. You are looking forward to what will happen next. And at that point, another set of skills is required. Then prescriptive. Oh, we know what will happen next. How can we make it happen? Or either how can we avoid it, or how can we make it happen? If it is negative, we're going to lose customer. Why? How can we avoid it? So beyond just telling us we are going to do this in the future, business want to understand how can we make it happen, or can we avoid it? And also our cognitive intelligence. This is real-time intelligence, factoring in the previous stages into the decision-making. Solutions, AI solutions can actually do this by continuously go through all these cases and doing that in real time and being able to make decisions based on them. Having said this, you can see that analytics in itself is a continuum. Then Power BI helps us to deliver value through the what and the why. You're able to answer any question that relates to what and the why, because businesses are the end people you're engaging with. And there are opportunity to even bring in and integrate artificial intelligence, machine learning into Power BI in case you want to continue these spaces of analytics. As we continue in this class, we're going to see those possibilities, not this session, but other sessions in the 30 days of learning. All right, because of time, all I've explained in the past, that what we can see right here on the continuum bar in terms of maturity: descriptive, explanatory, exploratory, predictive, prescriptive. The what, the why, what's the reason, what will happen, how can we make it happen? That's exactly what I'm still sharing here with you. Okay, it is time for what you have signed up for. I mean, you want to see Power BI in action, then I'm going to give you just that. Okay, but before we go in there, let's talk about the anatomy of a Power BI dashboard. What does it look like? How do you even relate and and work with it? I need you to know that Power BI is part of the Power Platform family. We now have 5 now. We have Power Pages. Power BI is the one that focuses on business analytics. So anatomy of a dashboard. What does it look like? A Power BI dashboard. Right on my screen at the middle, you can see a dashboard there, reports. How do we understand how Power BI dashboard works? Number one, any data. You can connect virtually any data, and that's awesome about Power BI. I'm going to prove to you today by connecting to over 6 data sources. Incredible. I mean, you're going to see that it has much more connection beyond that. Share insight with anyone. You can actually share insight on premise, in the cloud, on your mobile devices, even with those outside your organization. Is that really easy and simple? Seamless integration. Oh, in the previous session, we have seen how Power BI integrated seamlessly with Microsoft 365 apps and services for a case study. Ability to integrate to Sharepoint List at the click of a button, you have built a dashboard and report. Microsoft Teams, right from Teams, you're able to build dashboard and report. And as well, you can integrate your dashboard and report directly to your PowerPoint presentation. That's awesome. And these things are solving pain point in the business and makes create time for data analysts to think twice and dive deeper into data rather than spending so much time to do those technical things which Power BI integration already make available. So beyond those integrations, it integrates other apps and services. Office 365, Dynamics 365, Azure in the cloud, Power Apps, mention them a whole lot. It also has extensibility feature where there's actually no limit. There are many charts or visualization that you don't you like, but it's not there. You can create them for yourself, and all across your organization, you can build data culture. What you see is what you get design experience. Wow! Just like as if you are using PowerPoint, you can see is drag and drop graphical user interface, fluid, easy to use, and easy to work with. Data visualizations, we have hundreds of different visualization cards that you can actually use to ideate or to project your idea of the data or to pass your message from data to the stakeholders. Native intelligence. I must also mention that Power BI dashboard has native intelligence. Just the way we have the analyzed data in Excel, you can actually type questions and automatically it's going to give you the dashboard or report, or it's going to give you the dashboard, the card, the chart that answer those questions without even writing any code. That is awesome. And big data support with Azure. Yeah, it supports big data with Azure. So connecting to Azure services like data lake, data warehouse, Synapse Analytics, a whole lot. Every data facilities and infrastructure in the cloud, it actually connects to them. Okay, and you can say, so Power BI is really powerful. Yes, that is the message from the word power. It is power and it's powerful. Okay, so I will set this, and now that you've seen anatomy of a dashboard, it's not just a tool that I use to plug to data. It does more than that. You can see, you can connect, you can share, you can integrate seamlessly, you can extend it, native intelligence, and a host of others. Having said this, your knowledge of Excel is very important. It's the basics. Without knowledge of Excel, you can still move forward. But let's see, how will the knowledge of Excel truly help you? If your Excel battery is charged up to 50%, wow, then I'm going to tell you that you will have a smooth learning curve learning Power BI. But if your knowledge is charged up to like 80%, now when I talk about 80%, you talk about advanced concepts. And here we are talking about comfortable with VLOOKUP, pivot table, Power Query. You can build dashboard. Yeah, some people have been building dashboard, but that's the first one you are building. But the more you build and comfortable with it, you transition to at least 80%. Then you have easy transition to Power BI. Yeah, and that is it. So let's move forward from there. Power BI experience, everything I've explained is what we have right here. You can connect your data in the cloud or on-premise, and there are product portfolio that you need to know. First is Power BI Desktop, and that's what we're introducing you to today. It is free. You can author your data through it, free data analysis and reporting authoring tool. We have Power BI service, which has license. You need license to use Power BI service. And interestingly for everyone, we have Microsoft 365 developer account. That account already gives you access to Power BI service, because within that E5 license, you have Power BI license there with you. So you can actually enjoy this. We have Power BI Premium for organizations that have a lot of people consuming Power BI dashboard and reports. They can have a dedicated capacity that sort of make the performance to be faster for them. We also have report server, which is for sharing and collaborating also is on-premise. On-premise means this organization using this have to install it on their server that they are looking after. But cloud means they don't have to bother about it. They can actually just go there and use it. The service, everything that needs to be running to keep it working, they should not be bothered about it. But when it is on premise, the company is the one maintaining it, making sure it's on, everything like that. Okay, and it's for report. There are stages of report, customized report that you might want to be authoring. They use that. And app developers, we have Power BI embedded. You create an application, your banking app, your different forms of apps, and you want to include dashboard at one phase or the other there. Then that's what Power BI embed actually does. Once you build your dashboard and report, you can actually embed it into your applications and it will be smooth and easy. But our focus is Power BI Desktop because it delivers value, even across all the spectrum. When you build a dashboard and report, you can push it to Power BI service for collaboration and share with people. You only add Power BI premium capability if you want to serve hundreds of thousands or thousands of employees in an organization and on like that. All right, I'm not just going to say so much because of time. I want to do demo. I want to walk you through things. I want you to really see and feel it. So free Power BI companion in terms of Power BI desktop, you can get data, connect to data. What you can do with it, you can analyze your data, you can visualize them, you can publish your data, you can even collaborate. Empower your organization with self-service analytics as well. Okay, one more thing I will say before we talk about how do you download it and how do we connect to different data sources. What you can see on my screen is more or less an architecture that shares or explains how Power BI Desktop and Power BI Service relate, as well as some other things there. And what I'm going to do right now is focus on this center page, which says Power BI Desktop. It says that, with this desktop, you can do query, data, and generate reports. And you can connect to data sources either from app, online, like cloud, even your own on-premise data sources, you can connect with them with Power BI Desktop. And when you build a report, and you can also push it to Power BI from Power BI mobile, users can use Power BI mobile app, can use the desktop, can use the on-premise, the online. Now, let's move quickly here to the online. The online here, okay, when you build your dashboard with your desktop, you can actually publish it and push it online. And that's just it. And within your online, you can have dashboards here, dashboards. Actually, what you do majorly on the Power BI desktop is reports. You don't create dashboard on desktop, you create reports. And when you push it to service, then you can now start creating, dashboards from reports. Dashboard are just 2 or 3 KPIs and you go straight to the point. But report can have several KPIs, several visualization cards. And when you get to the service, you can then say, let me combine these 3 report cards, visualization card and data and chart. Let me call it a dashboard because it's serving a purpose. Then you call it a dashboard. And on the service, you can create alerts. So maybe when we cross the threshold, when our revenue crosses $1 trillion, just send me an alert. When we hit our target for the year, send me an alert. You can set all those things there. You can work with workbooks. And right here, you can see that even it connect back to Power BI mobile app. Once it's published there, you can still relate with it from mobile app. And lastly, if your data is on-premise, you can see this cloud icon shows this data actually coming from cloud. They connect directly. But if your data is on-premise, before you can connect with it from Power BI service, you need to install what we call Power BI Data Gateway, because it helps you to schedule refresh and it's a secure tunnel pipeline like VPN that sort of connect directly from the cloud to your data wherever you store them, and making sure that they are refreshed and they're being kept up to date. That is it. Okay. How do we install Power BI? How do you download and install Power BI desktop? First, you can do that from Microsoft Store, which is on your, as far as you have Windows 8 system, Windows 10 or 11, you're going to see Microsoft Store there. You can download it from there. Or you can do offline installation. Just go to Power BI website and then download from there. If you download from the store, the advantage you have is that it will keep, whenever there's a new version, new features, if you update, it's set. But if you download from online, you will need to download the new version before you can actually have access to the new features. So that's the major difference when using these 2 type of installation method. Then these are the demo things we're going to do. I'm just checking my time now. We're about less than about 30 minutes to go through these things. why are we starting from getting data and not just building visualization? The more you know about where and different data sources you can connect to, the better your understanding of how to use this tool. And you're not limited to just one thing. Okay. Now, let's start with all this. How do we, I'm going to use this time to also pull up my Power BI and desktop. How do we connect to data? We're going to use different versions, and these are the data sources we will be connecting to. So permit me to share my entire window now so that you can see everything again. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing. I'm going to share again. Okay, share screen. Right now I'm sharing my entire window. All right. Okay, I think I can go back to Power BI desktop. Okay, good. Sorry, not quite sure why. Hmm. Okay, I think I'm back here now. So this is Power BI desktop. When you put it up, it might show something like this. And if it's new and you've not done anything with it before, you might not see all these things that I'm seeing at the left-hand side there that shows my recent data sources. I can close this, which you can also close. Something is not working well for me here yet. Um, let's see this. Let me use this to navigate here. Okay. Um, okay, I really want is happening here. Let me close. Let me close this and come back to it. Okay. Seems hmm, just give me a moment. Need to close my Power BI desktop. Not really sure what is happening there. Yeah, I'm gonna pull it up again now. So during this period, please help to also share and get orders. I think is up now. I should be able to. Okay, good. Right, I'm going to double charge my pieces so we can have a seamless experience. Now, don't forget we are visualizing several. We're going to be importing data from different sources. So the very first one that I'm going to be sharing with you is sample data in Power BI itself. So if you are learning Power BI for the first time, you can actually start with a sample data set, which is the financial sample data set we've been using in previous sessions. It's actually from Power BI. And this is it right here. You can say try a sample data set just for you to work with. When I click on try down sample data set, then I'm here. It pop up this window. And from this window, I can launch my Power BI tutorial. I can take me to a new website and where I can see some tutorial guide, including how to download that Excel file. Or I just want to load the sample data and experiment on my own. When I click on load sample data, it then started creating some connection, and you need to have internet connection, I guess, for this. Right now, you can see, I can see a financial sample data here is an Excel file, is in a folder. I believe the folder is online. And we have two sheets. We have financials. When I click here, it's going to give me a preview of it. And we have sheet one. I don't actually see the difference, but you can select any one you want. I want to select the financials, which more or less is the table. So meaning it's been saved as a table, and you can load the data or you want to transform it. You want to transform, then you want to claim it and do some changes to it. When you click on transform, it takes you to Power Query. How? Did I just say Power Query? Was this not what we were using in Excel? Yes. So that was why I said if you know how to use Excel for all the things we'll be doing, it's going to be much more easier for you to translate those knowledge to Power BI because it actually connects. To even let you know, Power BI was released in February 20, I think February or June, around June 2015, but it was year 2015. And before it was released, this Power Query and other features were actually in Excel. And the dashboard and all, you can see even right now, you can still do dashboard, create those things in Power BI in Excel. And later, those features were taken, from Excel and more added to it, and we have what we call Power BI today. So we are good with analysis, like what we've been doing in Excel. It's going to be much more easier for you. I'm not really sure if there's anything I need to transform here. Everything seems to be cool and okay. Have the date already separated from me. I will have done that, so I can go ahead and just close and apply, and it's going to load this data for me. You don't have to do anything. You see what we are doing now, 700 rows loaded, and by the right hand side here, I can see the tables in it. I can click on anything and it's going to show. I'm already visualizing, but that is really not what we're even into today. 9.2 million, is it dollars or what? I can do those formatting. We've connected to one data source called financials. So let's go to others. Remember, we still have others. We have sample data from a single Excel file. That's the next one I want to go to now. How do we then, we've gotten data from the Power BI itself. How do we get data from another source, which is Excel file stored on your system, anywhere on your desktop, or your document, anywhere. So how do we connect to that? At the top here on Home Ribbon, you're going to see a lot of menus here, and you see Get Data as one of them. You can even see Excel Workbook, but let's go to Get Data. Once you click on Get Data, you're going to see common data sources, Excel Workbook, and the host of this. And you can see a whole lot more under more, but we're still going to get there. Let's click on Excel Workbook. So it's asking you, where's the Excel stored on your system? Oh, I guess I have one. If I go to my document, go to data analysis 30 days, then I have here. That same financial data I've been able to download it. I'm not going to upload it here. I would rather go for Adventure Workspace, which is an open source data. The link to this will be added on the Discord server, and the recap, the blog post we're creating for this session at the end of today. So you can get GitHub URL. Those data will be there for you to download and practice with. And I'm going to click on Adventure Workspace and click Open. Power BI creates connections automatically to that Excel, and it's trying to load. Oh, in this Excel, I have a lot of tables. These are the tables that I have. Which one do you need? Oh, this is customer table. Okay, I need customer table. Oh, I need date dimension. So it's been created a date dimension. I need products. I need sales. I need sales orders. You can keep adding as many customer data, as many as you want. Date data, keep asking. Sales, maybe I'm even okay here. And you can transform if you want to transform them. Remember, if you need to explore your data to understand, is it of high quality, do I need to change? But I'm not going to make any changes here, because the goal here is to show you how to connect to this multiple data coming from different sources. The advantage is because this Excel is stored as tables. These are tables and these are sheets. Actually, this guy is sheet. These are tables. Anyone with that blue header, they are tables. Anyone that just look like this, they are sheets. So I have tables and I have sheets that I'm taking. Maybe I should just focus on tables. Doesn't mean customer data, that's fine. And click on load. When I click on load, it's just start writing query and getting the data for me. And you see right there, it's loading the data, waiting for other queries to load, because it's Power Query that's working. And what it's doing right now is creating a pipeline of connection. Whatsoever transformation I have applied, if there's an additional data in those data sources, I don't have to go over there and clean them again. They just go through that process and they get transformed. But I didn't apply any transformation. All I did was just to load them. Imagine we now have more. Just hold on. Let me see if I can zoom here just to make this more clear view. I should be able to. Okay, I can't this here. I can increase the V, but I can't really zoom the Power BI desktop itself right now. Okay, maybe I'll try that later. All right, so we have more data sources now. We have for customer data. These are all the tables there. If I go to this left-hand side tab here under data, you see I have all the tables. You can see what we have in those tables now, all the different data that are there. We're going to work with this later, but you see we've connected to data within Power BI itself. We've connected to an Excel. What else should we connect so that you get to know how easy it is to connect to data sources? What we have next here is get data from Sharepoint List. Now, one of the things we also shared with you, day 2 of the onboarding session, was day 3, introduction to Microsoft 365 apps and services. And I shared with you Microsoft SharePoint. And we did a brief demo how to create a team site with it. And last week, we also created a dashboard from SharePoint list and you knew what it is. So I'm going to go to web now and go to SharePoint. You might be asking, oh, how do I get here? Is it just by clicking the browser? I won't get that from my hand. It's actually easy. Go to office.com and office.com, log in with your developer account, not your personal Microsoft account, the developer account. Once you're there, then locate SharePoint from this angle here. You're going to see SharePoint. It has opened here for me. It's going to open you to something like this. Yours might be blank because we've not created a lot of things, but I've created many things. And the site I'm interested in is the 30 days of learning. If you don't have anything, you can create a site by clicking on create site, team site, go to claim site and give it a name, and it's just easy to go through process. Then you are done creating site. And you'll be, when I click on my own site, yes, I want to close this. Then click on my site, which is where I am now. You will have something similar to this. Yeah, something really similar to this. And what I've done is I have uploaded the financial sample data as a SharePoint list. The next question is, how do I do this? I'll peel with you to take time and go through the onboarding resources for the 30 days of learning. Is anyone have been following us? You know, this is not hard again. It's just to go to home here. And from home, you go to new and say new list. And then say from Excel, then locate where the Excel is on your system, then follow the prompt. And that is it. Automatically, it's going to create this for you. And you see it at the left-hand side here. All right. So this is the SharePoint list that I have. Now, if I want to connect Power BI to this, how do I do that? First, you need to know the SharePoint list name and the URL. So this is from this address, you can see the list name is sample financial data. If I copy everything here, sample financial data. Okay. In fact, if you copy all of this and go to Power BI and now say get data, I'm looking for SharePoint, not here, then click on more. You see, there are many more sources. In organizations, some data will reside just like that on the SharePoint list. And while scrolling through this site, you will see online. If you go to online services, or otherwise you can be scrolling here, you're going to see SharePoint folder. That's not what we need. We need SharePoint file, SharePoint site. You're going to see that shortly. And continue to scroll. SharePoint online list. This is what we need. Online list. When I click on online list and click connect, it's going to ask me a few questions. Where is the site URL? Not even the list itself. It's the site URL. So I'm going to paste this. Remember, it's already giving me error that this guy is not the valid URL. Yes, because the site itself is not with all data. It stopped at 30 days of learning. This is where it stopped. The site stopped at 30 days of learning. SharePoint.com site 30 days of learning. That's the site. And it's already picking implementation 2. It's still saying it's not a valid URL. Hold on, Control C, Control V. Okay. All right. So I don't actually need the .aspx there. So 30 days of, as far as you have the site, is 30 days of learning. That's the name of the site. Okay. Implementation, you can use 1 or 2. It's just about security authentication level. And advanced, if you want to retrieve all columns from SharePoint or default, just leave it at all. Then click OK. Because it is SharePoint online, connect web content fail. Okay, let me edit and try web 1, this version, and click OK. All data, retry. I also need to log in first. I'm expecting it to prompt me to log in, but it's not. But let me cancel and sign it to my Power BI because it's not everybody that can access it. So you must have access to it. So I'm going to sign in here at MS Power TV. This is my developer account .microsoft.com. Also going to send some prompts to me because I use 2-factor authentication. Okay, yep, this is it. Okay, it's signed in already. So, okay, let's reattempt this again. Come back here, more, and go for, I can easily go on online services to filter for the online. I can see SharePoint right here. Okay, click on connect. My site URL is this. Actually, it should be this. Okay, click on OK. It's trying, you need internet connection to do this. So let's say it's establishing the connection, and now that I've signed in fully, it's straight through. Okay, so while we're waiting for this, the next we're going to try just to, okay, I think it's moved over there. Okay, so it's successfully signed in now, and it's trying to retrieve what we have on that SharePoint site. But what I'm interested in is my financial data list, and I have to start looking out there. Where is it? Financial sample data. This is the list, and it has access to some document, but I'm actually interested in this financial sample data. That is the list. Then I can click on, if you want to transform, say transform data. And right here, you see there are many rows and columns that I'm seeing there, things that are, seems not to even be valid because they are not valid. They're actually valid for SharePoint list. They are metadata, but in itself, what we have at the back end, on the SharePoint in itself is just title, country, and just few number of columns. But if I come to here, show or hide columns, you see we have several other columns that are not obvious, that are not, they are metadata, that are part of the SharePoint list. So everything is what it retrieved here. And that is why I'm saying several columns, relatable and non-relatable, which I can actually clean them and take them out. Like this file system, this, I don't need this. ID is a unique ID generated at the back end. You know, if you don't need these guys, you can delete them. How? I've highlighted those 4 or 5, then click on remove columns. They're out. Content type, I don't need it. I can remove it. I think I'm starting from here now. Government and the rest. Where do my anyone attachment or feed, all these guys that I don't need, you can select them and remove. And be careful because it's not in order. You can see now I have field 2 and many other things like that. Okay, I see. So where did they stop? Feed 9 up to feed 12, feed 15, and from here up to the last column, you really don't accept. These are metadata, don't need them, can remove. So what is shocking here is you see we have feeds, author ID, created date, modified date, editor ID. Yep, I'm going to remove all this. Why are we not having a column? We're having feed here, feed 7, but these columns have names. Even right here, they have names. And I see country here is field 2 over there. Because if I go back to my SharePoint, my Power BI, you can see country this is field 2. Field 2 is actually country. Am I right? It's product actually. Field 2 is product. Let's see Montana and the rest. Yeah, field 2 is product. So why is it like that? When you were uploading the file, the Excel file into SharePoint list, automatically what SharePoint does is it creates them as feed number first, feed 1, feed 2, and the first name you name a column in SharePoint is the primary name. Even when you have changed it in the front end, that name is what you're going to see at the back end. And how do I prove this to you? If I go to these settings and go to list settings, and from list settings, you see you can read all these guys, but if I go to country, for example, and click on country, for you to know the actual name, the first name that was called, that column was called before it was renamed to country, this is it right here. Feed underscore 1. So country is actually feed underscore 1. And it continues on and on like that. So it's a feature in SharePoint that sort of automatically create them and add that feed, append feed to them, and later rename them to the name on the columns. You know, that can confuse you if you don't know how it works, but I just explained that now. So I'm going to go back there. So back to my PowerPoint. Sorry, back to my SharePoint. I'm done. I've edited and deleted all the things I want to delete. And of course, it's good to rename them. So title is, let's just rename one and I'm going to close. Country, product, this feed two is actually country, product rather. I'm going to double click and rename the product. I hope I've not deleted feed one while I was deleting things. Obviously, feed one has gone with my delete. That's why, of course, I can go back to all the past navigation, all the past activity, all the past steps I've applied and go over there and maybe reapply them. Feed one should be somewhere here. I must have one way or the other. Yeah, this is feed one. I one way or the other deleted it, but let's just move because of time. I've renamed one column. When you are doing yours, make sure you name all others. I'm just going to click on close and apply. And it takes me here. It's going to run the query, connect my data, brings in the data right there. So I have financial sample data here. And this is it coming from Sharepoint. I have 3 data sources already here. Let's move on quickly to others. And the next one here is get data from a folder on your PC. You will get to workplace sometimes and you realize that, oh, the data they're using is actually Excel. Yep. And then you have a folder where a lot of that Excel file is. For example, I have sales data A here, and this data is a monthly data, 2006 January, which is 01, 2006 02, which is February, on and on like that. You can see these are huge volume of data. So how do you then load everything at once? And that anytime I bring in more data to this folder, it automatically refresh. So let's try it and see. From Power BI, you go to Get Data and you click on More right here and click on Folder and click Connect. It's going to ask you to select where's the folder part. I'm going to browse, go to My System, locate my document, locate my documents, locate 30 days data analysis, sales data A. You must know how to navigate, depending on where you place the data on your system. I'm going to click on OK. Then click OK here. It's going to show me, see, these are data from 2006, January to 2007, June. What do I want to do? Do I just want to transform? If you want to do any form of transformation, good. You go to transform data before you merge them. Or you click here, combine and load, or combine and transform, which is the best. So I'm going to say combine and transform. It will take me to Power Query because transform takes you to Power Query. And right here, you can see it just showing me a high level header of the image of the file. Oh, this is it. Here is going to be 2006. Continue on and on like that. Okay, I'm okay with this. Click on OK. And it's loading. Okay, I think at the back end, I can see Power Query already here. So I'm the one that missed it out. This is Power Query. This says data A. It has combined this data, telling you the sources they're coming from. And if I click on this column, in case you just want to know how many years we have 2006 in this column, this should go on more than that. Add column. I'm sorry, view. Okay, I'm seeing the profile. I should say 2007 here. Okay, let's am I sure? Okay, these are the queries. Sales data A. This is sample data. Let's load this. Close and apply. Then we're going to see how much of data we have there. I need to confirm. If I come back here and I see sales sample data, I see from January till December, I see for year, you see 2007 is actually there. So it has loaded. If I filter for 2007 alone in this data, you see 2007 is till June. So months, you're going to see 1 to 6. It's not going to be up to 12, 1 to 6. Good. So what I'm going to do now so that you understand how it is, assuming you have connected to your sample data, we are not even building anything yet. We are connecting so that you understand how you can connect to multiple data sources. This folder has that data from January 2006 to June 2007. And the B has data from July 2007 to December 2008. I'm going to copy this guy and place them in this sales data A folder. So we have added, assuming new data are coming maybe on a weekly basis, as far as we name them the same format and they have the same column. Remember, it's not different columns. The data have the same columns. It's just the information and the time they're coming in that is different. So I've added a new set of data right now for 1.5 years. If I go back to my Power BI data, all I have to do for sales data here is to refresh. And to refresh here, I can just click on refresh data. If I refresh data, it will only refresh this data. But if I just go here to my Power BI and click on refresh, it's going to refresh for all the data sources. I don't need all the data sources, it might take time. So I just need for my sales data A and say refresh data. I'm just going to rerun the query that connects to my data source. Okay, it's telling me that there's an issue here, contains a duplicate value. There must have been a multiple here, 7, 8, 9, 10, 6. Let me go back and see if it's even done. First, we need to check. This is sales data here. Let's check for this query, clear filter, and check again. Okay, it's 2007, so the new data is not yet loaded. Let me refresh again. This time around, I can refresh the entire thing, refresh data. I need to check exactly what the error is. Okay, you see, this is what I mean, because I'm connecting to that from different sources. The query is running against different sources to refresh the data. Okay, cancelled error while loading. A lot of error issues here. I've not lost internet connection. You don't need the internet to connect to data on your system. So let me go to Power Query here. I can manage, there's no relationship here. I can edit query to see what is happening within this data in itself. So if I come here, it's 2006, load more, just want, so it has up to 6, 7, 8. It has captured this data, but I'm not sure what exact error is coming up because it has captured it right now. I can see it has up to 2008. And could that be all that is needed? Not really sure. Then let's click on close and apply. So it's loading it. Column customer key in table contains a duplicate value, and this is not allowed for columns on the one side of many. Okay, let me go to relationship. Seems some relationship has been created and that is causing issue. Actually, this is it. Automatically, it has linked my tables together and I'm not yet interested in modeling. So that's the challenge here. So I'm going to remove them, click on close. Then if I refresh now, everything will be fine. Apply changes, let everything load. It's going to load. Well, I don't expect column contains duplicate data, column customer key. Okay, let me go back there. I missed that error. I mean, let me refresh. I need to see the error again. Customer key. Okay, this customer key contains a duplicate value 21252. Okay, there's a duplicate record. So, okay, that's part of the transformation you need to do on your data. So I'm going to edit query right here and remove duplicates. This is customer key. I'm going to be removing duplicate from here. Customer key, this customer key. Okay, so there is duplicate somewhere. So I'm going to right click. When you right click, you see these additional options. I'm just going to look for values, remove duplicates. That's the option you need. I'm going to click on remove duplicates and going to identify duplicate that is there and remove it. And having done that, I'm going to click on close and apply. The error should, okay, there's no longer any error message now. And if I come back here, you see the data has now loaded from 2006 to 2008. And I don't need to do anything. If not for the duplicate record, is duplicate across all. So maybe it's mistake at the point of data, updating the Excel, they made a mistake. And it could be intentional just to test the skill when it comes to updating your data. All right, we're done with that. We have some delay there, but let's quickly move so that we can do more. How do you get data from web as well? Don't forget, we need to also get data from web. And at this point, I'm going to go back here. We uploaded data from GitHub the last time, and that's COVID-19 data. I'm going to do similar thing here. Go to insert, home, get data. You want to get from web scraping. It doesn't have to be the GitHub URL alone. It could be any site, but make sure that it is public. There's no license on it that you cannot use. You need to be careful of data privacy and also the usage of that data. How should it be used so that you're not using it outside, what is meant to be done. And to do that, we can easily, I just want to navigate to that GitHub URL. I think if I go to my GitHub account, I should be able to link from there. Okay. Okay, so I think I have ak.ms. Let's take it right here from 30dl. That's landing page. See, this is where you get everything you think you've missed about the sector in case you just want to have access to them. When you come to this landing page, you get access to it. So here, get data for learning content. Week 3, this is it. If I click on day 3 on the post there, I'm going to see the link to actually get this data at the bottom here. Calendar, if you're just clicking, download report. So it's taking me a bit of a time here. I guess is the day, it's not this day. I need to go back. That's day 2, learning content, West Taping. Yep. This is actually day 2 of what we did last week. That's where you'll be able to get the link to this data. This is it, the GitHub. All right, this COVID-19 data from the GitHub site. I just have to go to time series here, and I'm interested. Let's just say confirm cases globally. I can download this data, but the advantage of connecting directly to it by view raw data, then copy this code is when there is a new update, you have access to it automatically because you are connected to the source. I'm going to paste it here. It's also a public data. That's why I'm using it. Click on connect. Okay, let me see the issue here. Please enter a value. I don't get that. And come back here maybe I didn't copy everything. Control C. It shouldn't bring up that, and here Control V. Okay, good. Click on OK. You're going to connect to GitHub, that data source, and might be prompting you, do you want to automatically just show me right here that this is sample of the data? Do I want to transform? Yes, I want to transform. So right now what I'm doing is I'm transforming this data, and you need to first get familiar with this data. So it said this preview may be 16 days old. I can refresh so that I can get access to the most recent data source, data set. So I have this, and it's a time series data. So it's wide. Wide means you have longer columns than rows. You can see from what we have here, we have 286 rows, and we have 286 rows, 868 columns, and they continue to add more columns to it that way. They are wide data. Some data are long data where you have smaller columns but several numbers of rows. And how do we make this data usable for us? You must have been familiar with it. First, I need to elevate the first record to column header. Use first row as header because that's actually what they are. They are the column names. So I've elevated them now. This icon you are seeing here is because I have them toggle on. If I remove these guys, you will not see those icons here. Just to troubleshoot data quality when working with Power Query. And the next thing for me is the date, because from here to the rest, they are dates. And within those dates, there are values that have been reported. 00 because it was 0 that was reported for those areas. So all I just have to do is click on the first column and navigate to the last row, press down my shift key, then click on the last column. Right click, that's one way to right click and on pivot. Or you come back, it's a very long columns, okay? So you come back and select the first 4, right click on it and say on pivot other columns. So the moment you click on pivot order column, just converted them to a data type that I can easily work with. I now have a single column representing my date, which I can now rename to date, and I have value, which is confirmed cases. Confirmed cases. So this is what we did in Excel last week. It's the same Power Query in Power BI. You see, that knowledge of Excel is transferable here. And if you want to do another transformation, of course, you can extract dates from this date, extract month, extract year, but we don't have the time. You can always do that later. And click on close and apply. This data right now is being gotten from GitHub, and we're having it here. Another data. This is another data source to get data into Power BI. Now, because of time, I'm just going to demonstrate the last one, which is get data from Microsoft SQL Server database. You might be wondering, how do I get data from database? And these are experiences that the common training might not really show you. But now that you can even see it is possible, as you continue to build your skill, you can relate and interface with many of these data sources comfortably. And the last one I will show you is how to get data from SQL database. On my system, I have one. I've installed Microsoft SQL Server, which is not too difficult. I'm going to do a recording video on this and have it available on the YouTube and also in our repository. You can view it. In case you want to set up one, your system should be powerful before you can run it, because Power BI can actually be a bit heavy. And if you don't have something like a 4 gig or 8 gig RAM, it might slow you down. So I would say you might not necessarily have to try out installing SQL Server and the rest. But if you have the system that can take it, why not explore it and learn as well? So I've installed SQL Server and I've installed SQL Server Management Studio, which is helping me to manage a database on my system. My system is my server right now. And I have databases here. You can see Adventure Works 2019. I also have, practice database where I created, which is what I created for some of my practice data. Okay, so how do we connect to this? Within Power BI, go to Get Data and click on More. I already see SQL Server, but just want to click on More to see other possible data sources. And if I click on Database, you're going to see SQL Server Database. There are other type of databases. You can see them there. It's so vast. So click on SQL Server Database and click Connect. It's going to ask me, what's the server name? And how do you get those? What's the database name? So I'm going to come back here for you to know server name. This is my server name, but you can take it actually from here. If I click here and say information or properties rather, and from here I can see name. This is the name, which I can easily just copy from here. Copy this guy, come back to Power BI, paste it. That's the server name. What database do I want to connect to? Practice. Let me connect to Practice DB. Is it Practice DB or what do I name it? This is Practice, just Practice. So I'm just going to click on Practice. Two methods of connecting. Do you want to use import or direct query? Direct query means it's going to connect directly to the data source and be running live refresh. So if there's a new data in the data source, yes, it's going to be updating on the dashboard whenever whenever you put it on. You're going to schedule your refresh and have it on. But if it is import means just going to load the data into Power BI. If it's loading the data into Power BI, number one, your Power BI file will be large depending on the file size and might even slow down because you might not have the capability. And also, there's a maximum of 1 gig, file size on Power BI. So if it's more than that, you might not be able to achieve this. But direct query will run against it. And of course, it is not as fast as when it's import. Import means the data is already within Power BI data set environment and you can easily work with it. Any of them will work. So let's even use import and click OK. And it's running against that database and it's saying, oh, within that database called practice, I have two tables there. I have one for cargo card data, I have one for sales order. Oh, load both of them for me. And these are the sample of data. If you want to transform, go to transform data. Otherwise, click on load. Now it's going to load two more tables for me, but these tables are coming from different data, from SQL Server this time around. Amazing, isn't it? If I come back here to all my tables, I can see all the tables and you can view them. The one coming from cargo, this is the cargo data, card data. You can see a lot of tables, 100,000 rows. It's load faster. And we've come to the end of this session. You might be wondering, how about visualization? This will be your assignment. It is actually easy without even doing more. If you go to any of this data, just click on what you're interested in. Maybe I'm just want to see this cargo data. I'm going to say present price, for example, this. Do I want to check that by owner? I'm already building my visualization or seller type. By clicking, by dragging, you're already building your charts here, right in Power BI. So I am not going to be building charts today, but to show you, introduce, how to get data into it. In subsequent sessions, we'll be working with this numerous data. You've already downloaded about 14 data sets, right? So I can take questions now. Let me check if there are questions. Then I'm going to take them quickly. Then in the next 3 minutes to address questions. I'm going to stop sharing. Right, there seems not to be question right here. Okay. All right, so there are no questions. Then please feel free to practice this. This link is also watchable after. You can watch it after we're done with this session. I'm going to write a recap. So some of those links to the data set that I use, you have them available, the link to download them. And that article will be available for you guys today. Watch out on Twitter for updates. Watch out on Discord server. Watch out on the landing page that you always go to because we see the link right there. Seems to have a new comment. I need to check. Awesome. Thank you very much. Thank you everyone for joining us. We have to call it a day right here. Okay, bye and see you again tomorrow.